All right. Good morning, you guys. Happy Friday, finally. Mat class this morning, so we'll collect our mat things. Pardon me. You're going to want any weights that you want to use for arm work. Maybe a flex band. Some people like that as an option for some of the exercises we do. A head mat, a towel, a thin layer of blanket, and something for the inner thighs. Can be a squishy ball, a yoga block, a rolled up towel. And then when you've gotten all those things, go ahead and lie back onto your mat. And my voice is a little terrible this morning. The rain has come, but allergies are still here. So if I start pantomiming, you'll know what's up. Alrighty, so we're lying back. You can have your legs extended or not. And we're just gonna breathe. All right, so we'll breathe consciously. I often frame it in that way. You want to be aware of your breath, the smoothness of the inhales and the exhales. Each breath complete without adding struggle or strain to the breathing. So don't inhale like you're about to hold your breath for as long as you can, right? Just a normal inhale, a normal exhale, filling and emptying the lungs. And feel the visceral nature of this. So literally feel it in your guts. Inhales moving downward through the bottom of the side ribs and your internal organs dropping downward about an inch or two toward the base of the pelvis. And then exhale as the breath lifts, the pressure is released from your insides and things float up a little bit towards your crown. An actual phenomenon. We're here finding this directionality, this feeling for the breath, the inhales moving down and the exhales moving up. Begin to support the exhale with pelvic floor tone. And odds are you're doing that already without even thinking about it. So this too is a very natural sort of connection. Your Kegel, the muscles at the bottom of the pelvis, support the exhale so that as you breathe out, instead of pressure being exerted down, there's a feeling of lift or float upward through the crown. With that Kegel in place and with your awareness of it, please take this through 3 more rounds of breath. Inhales, expanding the sides of the ribs outward as the diaphragm contracts downward. And exhales, releasing pressure from the organs, any tension through the diaphragm as pelvic floor supports the rising breath. Over the last round of breath, if your legs are straight, go ahead and bend your knees. And once you bend your knees, take a moment. You might jostle a little left and right through the hips or just kind of sort of fish around with the bottom of the feet until you feel the place where they're most stable. We're going to prepare for a round of imprint and release. So your neutral needs to be comfortable. Your legs need to be relaxed. And as you inhale, relax open through the chest and the shoulders as well. Kegel. And exhale, making your imprint as you feel the breath rising upward through the crown. Low back pulling toward the mat. On your inhale, stay here, please. And then on your next exhale, return to neutral. With this pattern of movement, we continue. Prepare with an inhale, staying where you are. And on your exhale, make your imprint, flexing the low spine. Remind yourself it's a spinal movement made with the abs. Hold here, inhale. And then release to neutral on your exhale. Again, it's a spinal movement. The abs, their contractions subside. We're going to do 2 more of these with a slow pattern of movement. Only on the exhale and with the consciousness of core, as well as the movement that you're doing. The pelvis moves along with the spine without any effort or push from the legs. When you've completed your last round here, and you are returned to a neutral posture, slide one leg down the mat and keep the other knee bent. We're moving into hip release, and we're going to continue to follow this pattern for at least the next week or two. When the leg is extended, on your inhale breath, begin by dropping the lifted knee over to the inside. Slide it down. Exhale, turn it out and pull it up. Rotating inward and sliding down with your inhale. Outward and sliding up with your exhale. A total of 4 times. Just in case the legs were working at all, the hips were working at all in our imprint, this is our opportunity to release that work. After you've done 4, please reverse the motion, stay with the same leg. Inhale, drop out to the side and stretch down. Exhale, roll inward and slide the foot up. Yeah, 4 times. So not only releasing any work that you might have done in the hip or the thigh, but also bringing some more circulation and some proprioceptive awareness to what's going on in the pelvis. When you've done your last one, bend your other knee as well and pause for a moment. In your neutral posture, breathe in and breathe out just once, holding neutral. And then we'll slide the other leg down, preparing for hip release on the other side. When you've got that leg secure, the hips and shoulders balanced, on your inhale, drop the bent knee across the midline and slide the foot down. On your exhale, roll out from the hip joint and pull the heel up. 4 is the number this morning for this exercise. When you've done your 4th one, reverse the direction of your circling and continue through the final 4 repetitions. Take stock of your jawline. Make sure you're not gritting your teeth or tightening any part of your neck, really. The borders of the shoulder blades are soft as the ribs rest back. And once you've done your last one, you'll bend both knees and rest in place. Good, you guys. And if you're resting in place, continue with your breath awareness, your postural awareness. We're going to do some hip rolls next, so starting from a good balanced position is pretty important. If you have a thick layer of mat under your head, go ahead and reduce that or remove it as well. So the hips have this nice warm quality. They're able to move. We're going to use the ability of the hips to move as the spine moves in this hip roll exercise. Begin with your feet, plant them firmly into ground and feel the parallel alignment of the legs. Inhale, taking the breath all the way down toward the pelvis. Kegel, support with that set of muscles as you exhale and make your imprint. For the first one, pause in your imprint. Feel the abs working. And then as you start your next exhale, move into the legs, beginning to roll the spine up further, vertebra by vertebra. Feel that moment, that clarity, the connection of the abs into the legs. Come all the way up and feel the glutes working, hips extended fully. Inhale, Kegel. Exhale and roll down. Your core, your abs, your legs, your hips all working. Little by little as the spine lands on the ground, the abs soften, the hips soften, the feet and the legs release their work. We'll do 2 more. Take a breath and Kegel, exhale, roll up. You stage it as you prefer to stage it. And then roll down from there when it's ready, using your exhale. Feeling not only the sequential nature of your spinal movement, but the sequential sort of cueing of the different muscle groups. We do a 3rd and final repetition. You're welcome to continue that when you're ready. Start with your core and start with your feet in terms of awareness, and then continue through the sequence of movement. Good, rolling down when you're ready. Feeling that moment when the pelvis settles into neutral and when the legs relax. Stay here on the ground and have that conscious breath in and breath out. The pelvis stable, the legs relaxed, the core engaged. And then memorize this posture, because we're going to roll over onto our side, keep the same posture, and open into spinal rotation. You'll want your head mat back again, probably to support the underside of your ear, the side of your face. And you can use a weight for this exercise, or weights in each hand. We recreate that neutral posture, no effort in the legs, right? The hips rest easily. Be aware of the chest and the shoulders. Open them up, secure the shoulder blades, and match your head position to the rest of your spine. On your inhale, turn your head upward as you lift the top arm. Exhale and very lightly squeeze the knees against each other as you kegel and open further into rotation. Chest opening down the line of the ribs into the twist of the waist. Inhale, kegel, squeeze the knees, and exhale, return, beginning at the waist and backing out of this. Good. Continue, please. We're going to do just 2 more, so a total of 3. Warming up and bringing awareness to the muscles around the rib cage, and then further down into the line of the waist. Muscles in the pelvis working, but not in movement, simply as a stabilizing force. And when you've done your 3rd one, go ahead and roll to the other side, recreating your bent knee neutral posture. Yeah. Relax the outer part of your hips as you lie into the ground. Inhale, turn the head upward and lift the arm, centering the arm bone in the shoulder. Now, as you exhale, squeeze inner thighs exclusively and then open across the chest into rotation, spreading through the inside of the shoulders. Hold the open position and inhale before exhaling and returning. We do 3. And you guys know that you continue on your own natural breath pacing. Make sure that this isn't a shoulder-led movement, right? So one of the first things that happens as you open into rotation is the shoulder opens, but you're not initiating with your shoulder muscles. You're allowing gravity to draw the arm back. When you return, it's an ab-initiated motion as well. Now, having completed the final repetition, come to hands and knees. We continue our warm-up with cat stretch. Unless it's really unpleasant for your feet, tuck your toes under and try it this way. At the very least, you'll get a nice stretch for the underside of the toes. Right. You can rock back and forth. If you decide to untuck the toes before doing the cat stretch, you can do that. Do center your weight in between your hands and your knees. Open the chest and be careful not to lock the elbows. We'll inhale here in neutral, preparing for spinal movement. On your exhale, begin at the bottom of your spine to round like a cat, just like hip rolls. It's very sequential in nature. We end in our fully flexed or rounded position. Here, make sure your head is connected to the rest of your spine and inhale through the length of your curve. Then exhale and return through neutral, beginning at the bottom of the spine, the movement generating upward, and then opening into extension as you inhale, stretching the front of the ribs, the front of the shoulders, and releasing. Go through the sequence twice more. Allow the pelvis to roll through the hips, the ribs to roll through the shoulders, the head drops, inhale, and then exhale, return. Spinal movement is primary, the hips and shoulders coordinate. Extend, release, and go through your last sequence. Yes. Good, you guys. Go ahead and lie on your back when you're done with the last cat stretch. And you can have the layer of cushion under your head that feels right for that supine position. You can have something between the knees, the ankles, an inner thigh definer or activator. We're going to do some arm work, so you might want to have your weights nearby first. But before we pick up the weights, we're actually going to extend the arms forward and make fists with our hands. And then make little circles through your wrists. All right. You know, a lot of us work hard with our hands. Circle the other way. So we're just going to warm up all of those articulations. We're going to wake up the forearms. Do another circle here. And then keep your fists and stop the circling. Now we're going to stretch the hands. Open the fists and stretch the fingers. Spread them as far apart from each other as you can. And then relax and curl the fingers in. Make a tight fist that doesn't hurt your hands, but definitely introduces a squeeze. And 2 more times we open. Stretching, spreading the fingers apart. And then relax and curl the fingers in. 1 more stretch. And then relax. And this time you can very lightly kind of shake the hands if you like, or flutter the fingers and pick up your weights. Yeah. If you don't want to use weights, that's fine. We do extend the arms forward from the shoulders. And we're going to start with protraction and retraction of the shoulder blades. The weights sometimes simply help to center the arm bone a little bit more consciously in the shoulder joint. We'll begin on an inhale by pushing the hands forward to the ceiling and spreading the shoulder blades against the mat. And then on the exhale, glide the shoulder blades together as you firm and stabilize the bottom of the ribs. Do that again. Inhale, pushing the shoulders forward, stretching the upper back. And then as you exhale, retract the shoulder blades, glide them over the surface of the ribs. So you're not kind of smushing the ribs together, you're simply gathering the shoulder blades. Do this 1 more time. Right, stabilizing bottom ribs from the core, not from the neck. And then find that nice neutral spot in the middle of the shoulder joint, the ribs resting comfortably in that sort of bed of the shoulder blades. Inhale here with a firm grip through your hands. Exhale, reach the arms back, stretching from the shoulders into the extension. Hold the reach and inhale, taking the breath down into the hips, but also down along the sides of the waist. Kegel, exhale, and return. Squeeze your block a little bit, or the ball if you're using it. 3 more, please, with the same pattern. Exhaling as you reach back. Feel that this reach is assisted by gravity, but controlled by your core muscles. Exhale, return. And do 2 more, because gravity assists the reach back. You shouldn't have to work with your neck a lot to lift the arms. Feel the shoulder blades sliding and rotating against the ribs as the arms move dynamically from extension into a more neutral position. And then do 1 last repetition. At the end of this, bring your arms all the way down by your sides. Release your weights. And let your shoulders, the weight of your arms just rest. The weight of your head is going to rest on the ground, and we'll nod and release that nod. Beginning with your inhale to lightly apply the muscles in your throat. Nod the chin downward. It'll feel like you're about to swallow or yawn. And then exhale, release the nod of the chin. Inhale, nod the chin downward, working the front of the neck or the throat rather than the back. That becomes important as we do ab prep as well. 2 more times. We identify those muscles and consciously release the back of the neck, finding stability in the head movement. On that last exhale, releasing the head nod. Keep your arms stretched by your sides and lift your fingertips from the mat. So our final shoulder motion is a lift and a lower, an elevation and depression as the shoulder blades slide up the back of the ribs. Inhale. As the shoulder blades slide down the back of the ribs, exhale. Do this a total of 4 times. So the ribs form a stable base for the shoulders. Shoulders are very movable structure. Feel that easy gliding of the shoulders up and down the surface of the ribs, activating the various muscles that lie between them. It is the shoulder blades and the ribs. When you've done your last one, rest the arms by your sides and decide where you want to work with the arms for ab prep. We'll be doing some spinal flexion through the upper body next. It might feel nice to support the back of your head lightly with your fingertips or to continue to stretch the arms down, right? Neutral posture is where we begin, and the lower part of the spine, the lower part of the body remain neutral throughout the whole exercise, very much targeted from the bottom of the ribs to the crown of the head. We inhale and nod the chin downward. Continue to reach the arms, and as you exhale, bend forward. Back of the head lifts, back of the shoulders. The arms continue to stretch parallel to the ground as the shoulders adapt to the flexing spine. Inhale, Kegel, exhale, and lower. Nod the chin, and on your exhale, bend forward. Shoulders adapting to the flexing of the spine, whether your arms are reaching straight or whether they're behind the head. Hold and inhale fully, drawing the breath down toward the bottom of the side ribs, and then exhale, release. Please do 4 more. And if at any point you need to change your arm position, you can do that. The nice thing about the arms reaching, if your neck will tolerate it, is that it does strengthen the muscles in the front of the throat and allows you to consciously let go of tension at the back of the neck. So that's a good exercise in that regard as well. There we go. We're on our last couple. Taking your time with each repetition, working at your natural breath pace. Make sure that you're not losing the neutral lumbar curve in your low spine. And when you've done your last one, you'll have rested your head back and straightened your legs out long. Good, you guys. All right, so as you breathe here for a moment, we are getting ready to roll over onto our front. We're continuing to target the upper part of the torso. So really from bottom of the ribs to the crown of the head, the same area that we were looking at in flexion, we're gonna look at in extension, which is simply the mirror motion, right? So go ahead and roll over onto your belly. We're not going to bend our knees here. The rest of everything is the same. So stretch your legs out below, activate your inner thighs, pulling the legs close. Find neutral through the low back. You'll feel that as pubic bones resting against the mat, the 2 hip points as well. And then lengthen through the bottom of the waist into the hips as you point your toes and activate your feet. Elbows bent. We are going to be doing that spinal extension up through the bottom of the ribs that mirrors ab prep. It's called breaststroke prep number 1. Inhale here. Feel a softness and openness moving across the shoulders and the chest. And then on your exhale, begin to glide the shoulder blades toward the bottom of the ribs. Top of the chest will lengthen forward initially and then stretch upward. You might come all the way up until you're resting on the bottom of the ribs. A tiny bit of arm strength, but not a lot of shoulder work. Inhale, Kegel, and exhale, lower down. We do 3 more. Preparing with the inhale, softening the chest. And then on your exhale, reaching, opening forward and upward through the upper spine. This time it's the front of the spine that's stretching. Lengthen through your tailbone, firm through your legs, and exhale to lower. Put your support in your lower body and in your core. As you do your final 2, really strive to stay out of neck tension. You will have a little bit of activation as you begin to lift the chest, just to steady the head. We don't want it to drop forward. But the real lifting is done with the muscles in your middle back or between and below the bottom of the shoulder blades. Come up that last time. You'll feel more and more acutely those muscles. The further you rise, less drag on the neck, more ease in the shoulder tops. And then exhale and lower. Once you're down, bring your arms along your sides. And as you make the transition for breaststroke prep number 2 or dart, feel a renewed focus on the positioning of the legs, your spinal posture, and the balance through the left and right halves of the body. So once you're set, we'll inhale and place the shoulders, lifting the arms away from the mat, the palms facing inward toward your sides. As you exhale, reach equally through left and right body halves and begin to extend to a hover, not coming up as far this time, but allowing a float and an opening through the chest. Holding here, lift it above the top of the mat, and then exhale and lower. We're doing 3 more of these as well, so a total of 4. Place the shoulders and exhale, come up. So because we're right and left-handed, even more than right and left-footed in a lot of cases, be careful that you're not only using one side of your back to lift yourself or to lower yourself. We have 2 more goes at it. Lift the arms, apply your core in a balanced way, and then use your middle back muscles in a balanced way as you come up. Hold that balance of shoulders to hips and reach from toes to the top of your head as you lower. We have a final repetition if you haven't done it yet. Good. And when you've returned to the mat, sit back into a shell stretch. It's kind of like a child's pose that didn't make it all the way down to the ground. You can tuck your heels underneath you and bend forward through your middle spine, or you can sit up and round forward over your legs. Again, make sure that you're bending through your middle spine rather than just kind of hinging from the neck. Have a couple of breaths here. And then if you're very deep into this flexion, come up just a little bit while still maintaining the curve. So visualize or feel how this flexed curve could mimic a curve where you bent forward from ab prep and tabletop. And then notice that you can move the shoulder blades up and down that curve. So maintaining the spinal and the rib position and moving the shoulders slightly. You might even be able to move the shoulders forward and back a little bit. All right. When you've done all that, relax the shoulders. And on an exhale breath, roll up. And we'll lie on our backs and prepare for the 100. Because the 100 classically uses the pulsing of the arms along with the pulsing of the breath, we want to feel that once we bent forward, we're able to allow the shoulders to adapt to where neutral is in flexion. Yeah? We'll get there. Lie down onto your back, please, and bend your knees. And if it's better for your neck this morning not to bend forward at all, you can absolutely do the 100 without lifting your head from the ground. Once you're lying back in neutral, you've got your knees bent, you'll have a nice clean breath in and out, bringing awareness into your core and into your felt sense of posture. Breathe in to prepare. And on your next exhale, make your imprint, really lengthening the low spine as it flexes. Again, it's a spinal movement. The pelvis is going to roll to allow the spine to flex. Feel the security of both of those things and allow the weight of the pelvis, the low back, to drop toward ground. On your next exhale, lift a leg at a time into tabletop. Once the legs are in tabletop, activate the inner thighs inward, relax the outer part of the hips, and draw the knees firmly together. Point the toes and complete the chain of muscle activity down into the ends of the feet. For 2-3 times, we're going to bend forward with the hands behind the back of the head. So finding the support for the curve and really just sensing the flexion of the spine and kind of figuring out what the shoulders are doing as that occurs. We'll inhale and nod the head. Take tension out of the borders of the shoulder blades. And as you exhale and bend forward into ab prep, feel the continuity of that curve from your tail to the back of your head and the adaptability of the shoulders as they glide down. Inhale and exhale, lower. 2 more times, bend forward in that way, nodding the head. Without lifting weight out of the pelvis or losing length through the tail, the low spine, exhale, bend forward, stretching through the outer surface of the vertebrae. Lower, and control your position in space with your abs as you support with your core. The last time you bend forward, stay there. In your forward bend, with your pelvis comfortably weighted and absolutely stable in the low spine, I'd like you to exhale again and bend a little further at the bottom of the ribs, extending the arms so that you can reach and grab the back of your legs. Having grabbed the back of your legs, you've again changed the position of the arms. Check the shoulders and the relationship to the ribs, and check the position of the head. On your next exhale breath, release your legs, extend your arms by your side. You can lower your head if you want to work there. And then begin pulsing 5 times as you inhale in 5 little distinct increments. Exhale, 5 pulses and 5 divisions of breath. 10 sets of this, please. We've spoken about the head position. You know what you can do there option-wise. You can also support the back of your head in your hands as you continue to breathe. If you're looking for a little bit more work in the lower abs, you can extend the legs. And then you can adjust their angle at the hips to give you the correct level of challenge. Keep active in the inner thighs and in the feet. Beautiful work, you guys. Keep monitoring the position of the shoulders. Keep feeling the integration of the spine. Inhale smoothly when you're ready to release this. Exhale, bend the knees if they're extended, and then lower the upper body to the ground if the head is still lifted. When your head is down, your arms rest. Then exhale, rest the feet down one at a time. When the feet are on the ground, exhale, return to neutral. That was a nice set of the 100, you guys. Well done. So before we get up, in your neutral, and you can have your legs extended along the ground if you prefer, extend your arms forward to the ceiling. Pretend that you have a heavy rope suspended above the center of your chest. Sorry. And you're going to pull it towards you, hand over hand. So reach forward with one arm and shoulder, grab it, and squeeze your fist as you pull your hand towards your chest. Reach forward, other arm and shoulder, grab, squeeze, and pull in. And hand over hand, we pull this imaginary rope down. This activity of the fist, the forearm, the movement of the shoulder and the ribs, giving a little bit of ease to the muscles we used in the last exercise. Do this 2 or 3 more times as you breathe. Allow the neck to relax. Finish, right, left, right, and then let the arms fall by your sides. Inhale, exhale, sigh, and then roll over onto your side so you can come to a seated position.
Seated?
Seated, yep. Sorry, I know my voice is kind of going in and out. So we are going to sit, and you can sit on a cushion, on a pillow, or on a chair, or simply on the floor. We're going to do half roll back and use it as a stepping off point for other exercises. We are going to have the reach of the arms forward. And we're just going to be flexing the low spine. So mostly as we roll back, because we're keeping the arms parallel to the ground or horizontal, as you roll back, you're going to feel a little bit of lift or float under the bottom of the arms so we don't sink with the arms as we sink, right, with the spine sinking. No. All right, so here we are. On the sitting bones, inhale downward. On your exhale, look for connection and continuity first, and then begin to contract your lower abs to pull the front of your pelvis away from your thighs, lifting it toward the bottom of the ribs, flexing the low spine as you allow your tailbone to roll underneath. Inhale, And then exhale, reverse this. Feel activity, connection at the bottom of the ribs, through the sides of the waist into the low abs, steadying, adjusting the arms. And begin again. Bring your sitting bones. Exhale and roll back. Inhale, keeping the top of the head vertical, the top of the shoulders vertical, and then exhale, feel activation from the bottom of the ribs downward into the core as you float upward. The arms floating upward a little bit as well, so we maintain that horizontal position. Please do 3 more. And then usually with subsequent repetitions, we can find a little bit deeper flexion, a little greater length or stretch through the lower spine. Be sure to do that all without clenching the jaw or tightening the neck or getting real aggressive in the shoulder stability. We got it. When you've returned from your last one, I'll just look for you to drop your arms down. You can relax your legs for a little bit. Yeah. All righty. So as you catch your breath here, know that the next thing we're going to be doing is moving toward a rolling like a ball position. Yeah. So if you're on a high mat, we're not going to roll like a ball yet, but we are moving into that position. Make sure you have space behind you so you're not just going to, have this big edge. Okay. So from the sitting bones, this time holding onto the shins. On your exhale breath, as you activate your core, use your lower abs to flex your lower spine. The pelvis coordinates with that spinal flexion as the tail reaches under the bottom of your hips. And then once you've rolled back, top of the head and shoulders still vertical, bring your feet in. So your feet are a little closer to you. Now, 2 positions that you can work in. You can either keep the feet on the ground and lift to the points of the toes, right? And stay here, feeling the balance. Or you can lift the feet. And if you lift the feet, put your hands under the back of your thighs. Okay. So once you're here, we'll exhale and roll a little further back through the lower abs. So I'm going to lift my arm out of the way. Still keeping the top of the head vertical. Inhale, come up a little bit, activate from the bottom of the ribs as you lift and open the chest. And exhale, roll the pelvis back. Inhale, come up a little bit, opening the chest and dropping the shoulders as you flex and lift top of the ribs or bottom of the ribs toward the thighs. Do 2 more. And 1 more. Because you're holding the legs, minimize tension in the hip flexors and maximize your lower abs. And then when you've done that last one, exhale, put a foot down, the other foot down, and bring yourself forward over the legs. Once you've done that, roll up and just stretch your legs out. We are going to do a pretty basic version of spinal twist. If your knees have a little bend, that's fine. And if you're sitting on something, that's also fine. We want to keep the lower half of the body stable, and from about the height of the navel or the top of the pelvis, twist side to side. Have the arms out to the side if you can. And if you find that pulls on the side of the neck, you have 2 choices. You can make sure that the ribs are in line with the pelvis and settle the weight of the shoulder blades onto that. You should do that anyway. Or you can bend your elbows and bring your palms together, right? Shortening the lever of the arms. Resting the shoulders on the core. Now exhale, support the spine with length and twist a little. Twist a little more as you exhale more. Twist to the end of your rotation as you exhale the final amount. Inhale, center, and continue in the other direction. Feel that as you twist, the shoulder complex is stable on the top of the ribs. So we're not, you know, forcing the arms forward or back of where they started from. Finish the round you're on and do one more in each direction. Pulsing the exhale, of course, and each pulsed exhale, you get a little taller as you twist a little bit more deeply. Mm-hmm. Yes. Once you've done your last one, I'll know because you'll lower your arms again. Please bend your knees. So resuming our rolling like a ball position. Sometimes it's called post position. Hold on to your shins and exhale. As you engage your core, apply your lower abs to move your pelvis back away from your thighs. Then making sure you haven't shoved your head forward, stay open through the chest, bring your feet in. Same two choices with the foot position. You can either come up to a releve or a full point and stay there, or you can lift a foot at a time and float a foot up and then the other. Guess I said the same thing twice. Squeeze your inner thighs. We're going to add a twist, whether your feet are on the ground or lifted. So as you exhale, pardon me, bend a little further through the bottom of the ribs, opening the chest as you inhale and extend the arms forward. Inhale, lift the arms up. And on your exhale, without moving your legs, twist from the waist and dip the arms down. Inhale up through center and exhale, twisting other side. So we're making this little figure 8 pattern, ideally minimizing the movement of the pelvis and the legs, and ideally keeping the top of the shoulders and the head upright, chest pulling forward so that we don't have a lot of drag on the neck. One more in each direction. This is good for you kayakers out there. And then return. Put a foot at a time down or lower your heels. And bend forward. We're gonna lie down next. It might be a big relief. And stretch our legs, but take a moment getting there. So if you need to do any other little scooching around through the shoulders or just breath work here, take your time for that. And then roll back onto the mat and extend your legs. We're going to do breaststroke prep number 3 position with the head on the hands, but we're actually going to do hip extension rather than spinal extension. So stretched out on the mat. We have the legs straight. We have the inner thighs active, the head resting comfortably down. And we're looking to coordinate the action of the hips with the action at the back of the thighs. Engage your quads along with your inner thighs to support the stretched knees. Point your toes and then apply your abs to completely open the front of the hip joint, gently settling pubic bones into ground. Take a breath, preparing for that hip extension. And then on your exhale, as you balance across the body halves, reach long through the legs and lift, continuing to stretch the back of the knees as they rise. Hold and inhale, and then exhale and lower. Do that twice more, preparing, and then on your exhale, stretching and lifting, getting longer through all of the joints and the legs as they rise from the mat, balancing the pelvis and how you use the muscles around the hips. Exhale and lower. One more time, please. Good, you guys. And once you've lowered down, pause, let the legs relax for a moment. We're going to move into heel squeeze, and it's called UFO. It's the thing where we lift the knees a little bit. So knees are going to be bent this time. The legs are separated approximately to the width of your mat. Bend the knees. And then rotate from the hips so that the heels come together and the inner thighs start rolling toward the ground. Be careful you're not at this point overactivating the glutes and putting a lot of pressure into the sacrum. Instead, activate your abs and feel a smooth continuity between the glutes and the hamstrings. On your exhale, squeeze inward and apply your inner thighs to that. Inhale, soften the squeeze, relax outer hips, and only from the inner thighs, exhale, pull the heels inward against each other. So we do 2 more. As you squeeze the heels, make sure you're not tightening the hip flexors. You're tightening the abs probably. You're certainly engaging your core, but we don't want to restrict or shorten the front of the hips. Do 1 more of these squeezes. Keep it. And now 4 more exhales. This time as you breathe out, you'll both squeeze and reach long through the front of the hips, lifting the knees from the mat or feeling the muscles that would lift the knees. Inhale, lower. Not rocking the pelvis, simply exhaling and extending through the hips. More awareness to glutes, relationship to hamstrings, the inner thighs. 2 more, holding balance, hips to shoulders, as well as across the individual hip and legs. And 1 more. When you've lowered, relax the legs long and bring them back underneath you on the mat. Legs long on the mat. You can kind of rock the pelvis left and right until you feel lower back settling and balancing. And now we do breaststroke prep number 3. So the hands remain under the forehead. Stretch and re-engage the legs through the inner thighs, keeping the front of the hips clear. Feet stay on the ground, and on your exhale, you activate your middle back, sliding the shoulder blades toward the hips, lifting the chest into a hover. Inhale here, exhale, and lower. Do 2 more of this final extension, breaststroke prep number 3. And last one. When you've completed your last one, slide back into shell stretch, please. Breathe here and target the areas that need stretch. So not only direct the breath into areas of tightness, but maybe move a little, hands to one side or hands to the other, right? Move your head a little bit if your neck feels tight. And then roll up, turn around, sorry, and lie on your back. We're lying on our back, we have our knees bent, it's kind of standard starting position. Have a breath in and out, relaxing your abs, relaxing your legs, engaging the breath. On the next exhale, please make an imprint, moving the spine, using those low ab muscles. Once you've got your imprint, open the chest and the shoulders, relax there, and exhale, lift a leg at a time into tabletop. Knees squeeze together, hands behind the head. Nod your chin to your chest, and exhale, bend forward. Hold the forward bend and make sure that you're not just hinging from the base of the neck, but you're really smoothly integrating the curve. In general, you're going to want to exhale, contract a little more at the bottom of the ribs, and lift the upper back higher. Take a breath, and on your next exhale, from the waist, twist. Inhale, return through center, and on your other exhale, twist to the other side. Please do 3 or 4 more times, or 4 total times across the sides. Legs are quiet, hips are quiet, kind of like that little post position or rolling like a ball twist we did. And then when you've finished both sides, return through center and exhale, lower your head. Keep your legs in tabletop and reach down and grab the back of your thighs with your hands. Getting ready to do scissors. Nod your chin to your chest, aware of your shoulder, aware of your spine. Exhale, bend forward. In that forward bend, without lifting the tailbone, extend the legs upward. Moving into scissors now. Exhale, pull one leg towards you as you lower the other leg away. Inhale and exhale, switch. And keep that going across the sides. Use your abs, please. Right, don't let this be an exercise for your neck. You are using some arm strength. Finish the set you're on and do one more, please. There we go. When you're even across the sides, hold on to the back of both legs. Both legs are vertical. Exhale, bend the knees to tabletop. And then lower your head to the mat. Take a breath and exhale. Soften the chest and shoulders. Put your hands behind your head. Nod your chin to your chest. Exhale, bend forward from the mat. So a very simplified version of double leg stretch. Doesn't mean easy, just means precise. On your exhale, bend a little further through the bottom of the ribs, releasing drag on the neck. Prepare to stretch the legs. Inhale and exhale, both legs stretch away. Hold, inhale, move the breath down through the pelvis. Exhale, bend the knees in. Take a breath and exhale, stretch the legs away. We do 4 like this. Hold, see if you can bend a little further, opening the chest, and keep it as you exhale and bend the knees. Do 2 more. We got it. Never let like the head or the shoulders feel like they're orphans, right? Everything is working together. When you've bent your knees the last time, please lower your head and hug your knees towards your chest. As you hug your knees in, you can make little circles, all right? Do the thing that feels nice. And then continue to hug one knee in and put one foot on the ground. When the foot is on the ground, slide the leg long and feel a slow stretch building through the front of the hip, the back of the knee. You can flex that foot and allow the calf to drop toward the ground. If you like to use a flex band for one leg circle, go ahead and put it around the sole of this lifted foot. And then when you're ready, allow the pelvis to return to neutral as you bring the bent knee into tabletop and maybe extend the leg upward. We start in the inward direction. Inhale, take the leg across the midline, and exhale, circle down. Reach long and wide, take it out to the side, up over the top. 4 total. Make this feel pleasant, right? So again, not necessarily easy. When you've done 4, please reverse. Inhale, take the leg out to the side, and exhale, circle. The therapeutic, right? So the leg finds a centering in the hip, all of the muscles around the hip get a little bit of activity, a little bit of circulation. And when you've done your last one, bend the knee, and if you're using a flex band, put it off to the side. Hug both knees in. So you'll bend the bottom knee as well and gather the legs in. Give yourself a little squeeze, maybe rocking side to side, maybe, guiding the legs in little circles. And then new leg, put the other foot down and slowly stretch it long. So we have this moment when we continue to hug one knee in and slowly stretch the other leg. Same thing, front of the hip, back of the knee opens. You push through the sole of the foot, let the calf drop toward the ground. Flex band at this point if you like to use it for the bottom of the foot. And then as the leg approaches tabletop, return the pelvis to neutral. Leg can extend upward if you like. And we start in the inward direction, inhaling and exhaling to circle. That's it, guys. When you've done your 4, of course, you'll reverse and do the other direction. Yeah, I see you guys doing that. Very nice. And having done your 4, hug your knees in. When you're ready, you put your feet on the ground. We have just a couple more things to do. Exhale, one foot down and then the other. When the feet are down, return to neutral. Find your block and put it between your knees or ankles. Now, usually we don't think of shoulder bridge prep as a cool down exercise, but I want you to sort of think of it that way, especially in terms of its ability to balance the body. So when you do shoulder bridge prep, you keep a neutral spine and simply hinge the hips up and down, moving into hip extension and back down out of hip extension. A lot of work through the legs, but ideally not a lot of work through the back. So relaxing the bottom of the rib cage beneath you. Exhale, find your core, allow an opening to spread across the chest. Inhale, and now on your exhale, apply your core. Begin to press downward through the bottom of the feet, directly downward, like vertical into the ground from the hamstrings. Relax the hips, and I promise you the pelvis will rise. Pelvis low, spine neutral. Inhale, Kegel. Exhale and lower, rebalancing the hips and the legs, reactivating the support muscles in the lower extremities. We have 3 more. Prepare with the breath in. Feel the importance of the feet. Exhale, of course, engage your core, and then press upward. No tension at the hips to resist the extension. Exhale, lower, no tension at the hips to resist your return to ground. Right, you're controlling with the back of your legs, the bottoms of your feet. You're supporting with your core. And 1 more repetition. No resistance in the boundaries of the shoulder joint. So ribs go up and down through the shoulder joint. When you've done your last one, roll off onto your side and come to standing. So we end on our feet today. We're not going to do a bunch here. We're going to get you ready to launch into your weekend. It's a holiday, isn't it? Coming up. Yeah. All right. So I'll try not to look down. I want you to stand on your feet and have an inhale and an exhale, continuing to feel feet into the ground. We're going to take our little walk across the sides. So exhale once more, feel the firmness of ground underneath you. And then on your inhale, pick up one leg. On your exhale, put that foot down and feel a security of its connection into the ground so that when you inhale and pick up the other foot, you're steady. And exhale. Sometimes we play these little head games with ourselves where we're like, oh my God, I can't balance. Right? Don't do it. If you fall over, you fall over, but you know, it's information. Instead of thinking, oh no, I can't balance, I suggest thinking, wow, I've got this whole column of support all the way down into the ground, and the ground stretches forever. Well, ish. Right? So you've got the whole ground underneath you, supporting whatever you're doing above it. Do one more across the sides. And of course, you want to even how you're using the sides. So make sure you do both sides equal number of times. And then when you've got both feet into ground, pause, stand, feel the spreading of the ground underneath you and the stretch of your feet along it. Bring your palms forward. I might have to move a little forward. We're going to exhale and bend into the knees and reach the arms forward as we send the hips down and back. Turn the palms back and inhale. Stretch the legs as you widen and open the chest. Still connecting through the bottom of the ribs as you reach the arms and the fingertips. Exhale, palms forward. Neutral spine, hinging at the hips, reaching. And then inhale, palms down, lifting the chest, lengthening completely into neutral. Do this 3 more times, please. Gliding through hips and shoulders. Right, breath from and through the core. And when you've done your last one, you just stand for a moment, relaxing your arms by your sides. You can close your eyes or not. We end just with 3 rounds of breath, and I'll wait for you. Eyes closed or open. Feel the open channel from the soles of your feet through the crown of your head. Allow the inhale breath to travel downward into ground, and the exhale breath to travel upward through the crown. Do this 2 more times, taking your own time. And then at the end of that last breath, open your eyes, see the space around you. Inhale. Exhale, sigh. It's good to see you all. I'm going to turn the recording off. You guys have a great weekend.